migration here, it's always about some kind of strife, but what about the movement that happens every day for people to live, how the desire to move because there's something else somewhere?
And the question is, what happens when the artist moves? We keep moving, and also our thoughts move, other people come in, and that's how we move from here to when. Actual remnants.
There were questions about migration, and in the beginning we were very skeptical about it because it's a very trendy thing. It's happened. There have been many exhibitions on my art and migration and migrants, but they're usually framed in a certain way, so we were really trying to avoid that. So the change now started becoming the small things, or the things that make us move. Like, it's not small things, like money. We all have to move to find some work, maybe. So now from there we started moving in other directions, from just it being about migration, but now migration being a door to other things. Yes.
The theme of the exhibitions that are being made in the world right now, or it's the trending topic in the world right now, and to find your own maybe currency of vision or your own position within this discussion is very difficult. It's fast. All the information, all the material that has been produced maybe in the last 4-5 years about movement and migrations are so much that to pursue it in a honest and just a personal way is interrupted all the time. So one of our early arguments was if the word migration will be there in the exhibition text, in the title of the work. And our first title that we worked with was Artists as Migrants. And it's changed now to From Here to When, and continues to change for us to other things. It's become From Here to Now. This becomes From Once to Here. It's become at some point From Longinos to Onyis, or from Goethe-Institut to Onyis.
As Naijiorgraphia always imagined one day when we are stopping this curatorship practice, we shall do a show without artists and without any art. It will be a show about contemporary art. So this is our third exhibition, and we feel we almost got there. So that has been the strangest thing, because the artists are in their studios, they are making the work. You don't interfere with them, what they are making at all. But what you build is something we are calling the exhibition program. So you don't necessarily bother with what is being made, but you make something to support it around it. So that's new for us. We always knew you're speaking to the artist every day, you know what they are making, and you're translating that. But we have been seeing the work being made in little bits only in the last few days. So we are not actually interpreting the work, but the theme of the exhibition. So the artists are working separately from the curators, but somehow there's a connection.
Naijiorgraphia is currently maybe identifying as an artist curatorial collective, and it's a drifting practice. It started as an exhibition that we did at Goethe-Institut in 2017, in which we were thinking about movement and how we situate ourselves in this city. So Naijiorgraphia is to say we are doing it, we are making the geography of Nairobi ourselves. So it started from that exhibition where we were walking and moving around and making studies about the city, and then as gently morphed into other things. So last year was our first exhibition as a curatorial collective, which the exhibition and experiment was called Wanakuboeka Philharmonic, which was in ways for us thinking about what is a band, what is music, what is good music, what is music that sounds good, and how do band members make good music together. So, and then this year we are working with Onyis Martin and Longinos Nagila on the exhibition From Here to When, which is for them personal collections of memories, of dreams, of experiences as they've moved, or as their family have moved, or as they've experienced movement. And I believe for Naijiorgraphia, it is for us ways in which we are expanding our practice by thinking alongside or being with other people.
So basically, working with curators makes the work easier because like you only have to create the work, and then somebody else is going to be writing text or like negotiating for you on issues like the way exhibition is supposed to be done, or the things I need. Yeah.
So from the beginning, how have you been working with Naijiorgraphia in this project?
So basically, it was more of constantly juggling between ideas, researching, they sharing the text they have, we artists sharing what we have in mind. I think it's to see the final work in the show. It's not more of me as an artist, but then the collaboration between what they've researched about or what they know, and what I also researched about. So it's more of coming in together. Yeah.
But in this case, you have worked with Longi as well.
Yeah, I've worked with Longinos, and I think working together with Longinos is the same as a curatorial thing, because it goes more on how we research what we want to talk about. Yeah, so it's more of the same. Yeah.
So you have both a colleague and curators.
Yeah.
So tell me about the process from the start.
So basically the process was we first identified the topic that we wanted to work on, which was migration. So then we had to meet the curators, Naijiorgraphia, and basically what they were doing was we we're discussing and seeing how we want to do it, how we want to do it, and what we want to do. In this case of the story of migration, and so also trying to see even specifically what we want to talk about in migration, and then coming up with the title of the show. So then there was constant meeting of what we want to do, which materials we want to use, the dates of the exhibition. So basically it's everything that happens in planning the exhibition, but then divided into two groups. So one was negotiating with Goethe-Institut, the other group was making the work. Okay. I knew what he was working for, because even him, he hadn't seen my work. But basically, if you look, like we were speaking with Rose in the morning, and I was mentioning shoes, and then you see Longinos coming with shoe. So we are constantly thinking almost in one line, or we are constantly in one topic. He collected, when they make money, and usually the firm bans money that they don't want to be in circulation. So Longinos also went and collected that. And if you look at my installation, it talks also about death. So there's that similarity that's constantly coming up. And even when the works are changing, because initially I was more of going to work something to do with traps, and like even seeing my work changing into even very simpler, like the way I'm doing it, like memory. It changes from like physical object to just a thought. And even he didn't know when my work was changing, so we had to constantly talk to each other sometimes. Yeah.
Is it based on your own migration history?
Yeah, it's based on my own migration history, but also I'm constantly starting from my own memory, or from my own way of they have seen things around me, but then also borrowing from what I've seen others go through. So if I mix my experience with the experience of others, then I think that combination speaks for almost everyone.
So the exhibition comes as a result of because me and Onyis, we've been always since we started working, we've been interested in the theme of human movement, from one place to another, and how that changes how we are seen and how we also see ourselves and how we see other people. But we have always looked at it from, very detached, from very far, just these artists in Kenya, Nairobi, looking at migration between Africa and Europe through the Mediterranean. Something that people have questioned and said and asked, for example, asked me, but you don't come from the countries that are affected by this 21st century kind of migration. And to me, it's simple, because the first migration, the first Homo sapien migration started in East Africa, in the Great Rift Valley, when the Homo sapiens decided to move towards north. And I look at that, and I also look at migration from that point. Like, why did Homo sapien decide to move? What were the factors that pushed Homo sapien to leave the place where they had known as home, to move to other places? And to me, those reasons haven't changed. The reasons are still the same. It's only the roots and and vessels of migrations that have changed. But the reasons are still basic human survival. And that urge, human urge of looking for or chasing something, chasing dreams. Sometimes we find our dreams. Sometimes we discover that the earth is flattened. We arrive at the end of the earth, but that's a joke. But anyway, so this time we decided that it will be important to look at this, the idea of human movement from our own experience, and how these experiences have come to shape whom we are. And looking at that young little child who grew up on a border town, I don't think I am the same. I have had a lot of influences. So I would credit that to that day when my mom had courage to put every one of us in the bus and came down in Nairobi. So that's basically what I'm looking at. And the kind of works that I'm presenting are not very direct, because I thought if I would present very direct work, then it will either be illustrating or reporting. But I don't want to report, I don't want to illustrate. I just want to create a narrative that is very open. I want to create works that are open to interpretation. And so with this, I'm looking at an archaeological process where me as an artist puts myself in the shoes of an urban archaeologist who goes around collecting objects, some that are personal objects, some objects that are just found on the road, some objects that are found on the internet, and put them together to create a presentation.
So I've heard that you have an underlying theme about capitalism.
Mm-hmm.
Can you?
Well, yeah. Since some times back, I got interested in reading Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels' The Communist Manifesto. And to me, the Communist Manifesto resonates a lot with the work that I'm going to present, because I'm also looking at the journey that we made. I mean, we didn't come here for social reasons. We came here for economic reasons, And also because at that time, Nairobi had become a center of industrialization in Kenya. And Marx states that once the bourgeoisie have centralized industrialization in one area, it forces the population from the villages to trickle in and come to the center to offer labor. So we also came, with my family, we came to offer labor. So we are part of that. We are part of that labor force.